The Crystal Islands was a very old base on 2B2T. It was founded by Offtopia and 2 Australians back in 2012. Today in this video, I'll be telling you the history of the Crystal Islands from the perspective of Offtopia. The Crystal Islands were created back in October of 2012. Offtopia and 2 Australian players, which Octopath can't remember their names, would travel to an area which at that time was really far from spawn. The coordinates were x 38,700, z 26,700. The first structures they made were the underground tunnels underneath the islands. They used these tunnels for mining, and there were multiple tunnels since the 2 Australian players didn't have X-ray. They would then build a wooden structure and the main tower at the islands. The main tower held all of their materials and kits. It was finished in 2013, however, the wooden structure would eventually be destroyed due to a lightning fire. This would make Offtopia build a pagoda where the wooden structure was. This pagoda was called the Phantom Pagoda, and it was mainly built out of netherrack and blue stained clay. The Phantom Pagoda was already built at another 2012 base called New M, but Offtopia made a colossal mistake there and forgot a whole line, so it wasn't perfect and was never finished. Offtopia would experiment at several places with pagoda type buildings as well. You can see about 5 other pagodas at the Dr. Motek Island, for example. From there, they built a cat tower which held all of their cats and had an underground entrance to a complex of rooms and tunnels that were also built in October of 2012. The 2 Australians built these rooms, and it held multiple farms like a chicken farm, netherwort farm, mushroom farm, and mushroom farm. They would also build a classic zombie converter. A zombie villager would spawn in the iron cage room, and then you would convert it into a normal villager with a regular golden apple and a potion of weakness. Once the villager is converted, it would be transported to a minecart system, which led to the Mushroom Village. The Mushroom Village was built in 2013. The Mushroom Island was 100% artificially made since it was originally a normal grass island. Offtopia removed all of the regular grass and then placed mycelium around the island, leading to the mycelium to spread. He would then make mushroom houses and bring mushrooms to the island. The mushrooms were brought from another island that was 1,000 blocks away from the Crystal Islands. The 2 Australians would also build a skeleton farm, and above it was a tower built by Offtopia. This tower was called the Sewage Tower. Another tower held a spider farm. The islands were starting to grow as more structures were being built, and Offtopia would invite a player named Cytotoxic T-Cell. She would stay at the islands for 3 to 4 months and built multiple structures. She would first build a tower close to the main tower. It was called the Crystal Tower because of the ice blocks on the rooftops. She then built an automatic farm which had 4 layers of multiple crops underground. It was never finished, but Offtopia would later finish it 3 years later. Her final build was a round underwater dome with trees. Instead of regular trees, she replaced the leaves with ores and placed a bed inside. She would leave the server for a long time, and the bed was left untouched just in case she ever came back on the server. Other well-known players would visit the islands like Imperator Tarai, Tristan, Brand Nilin, and XCC2. XCC2 built a mushroom tower house, and it had a bed inside as well. However, all of the players at the islands got bored and left to do other things. Offtopia went to do other projects on the server, and the Crystal Islands would stay dormant between mid-2013 through January 2016, when Offtopia came back to the islands and started to build more structures. One of the first things Offtopia built when he came back in 2016 was the brick Tulip. He had tons of duped brick blocks and had nothing to do with them, so he built a tulip made out of bricks. Another reason why he built it was because he liked to build flower type towers, as you can see at other builds like Asgard 1 and the Drain. He also made a coarse farm and built inside a chunk error, which was called the Granite Inn. Offtopia's original plan for the chunk error was to make it hollow, but he would never be able to finish it. On top of the chunk error, Offtopia constructed an animal farm and 2 houses. The houses weren't schematics, but were inspired by schematics. Offtopia changed the layouts and the colors a bit. He would also create new villagers at the Mushroom Village, since in 2013, the big Villager Holocaust happened when a player named X0XP crashed the server. The last structure Offtopia built was the Underwater Village. It It was connected to the intersection with the Mushroom Village, and it was a glass cube with a village inside. It was made by filling up the glass structure with jungle wood and then burning the wood away to create the space. Around the final days of the Crystal Islands, Offtopia took a world download and decided to give a YouTuber named FitMC a tour of the islands around the beginning of June 2016. Offtopia wasn't really a friend of Fit's, but in his eyes, he realized that he would be a good YouTuber that would make the real culture of 2B2T visible, compared to what the Camping Rusher did. Later on, when Offtopia came back from one of the mines, he found that the Crystal Islands were being griefed when a bucket of lava was poured over the main tower. When the griefer saw Offtopia, he killed himself because the lava that was falling from the tower was lagging both of them. Offtopia thought it was most likely a rusher, but he was expecting a griefer soon anyways, since he moved most of the valuables to an underground stash which was 3,000 to 4,000 blocks away from the islands before the grief. Offtopia went into the main tower and took valuables like Fit's Skechers and Pop-Up's sword from 2012, and burned the rest since he didn't want anything that was too important to get into any griefer's hands. Offtopia would then take his skeleton horse and went to spawn, leaving the Crystal Islands forever. The Crystal Islands were now open to anyone, and were welcomed since Offtopia would tell players on a Reddit post, stating that the islands could be repaired and used as a base for veterans or any players that needed a base. At first, players repaired the base, since the main tower wasn't damaged by the lava. The only thing that was destroyed was the ice rooftops at Saito's Crystal Tower. A player named Toma came 2 days after the griefer placed the lava and fixed the rooftop. However, this didn't last long. Throughout the months, the Crystal Islands would get destroyed. A player named Charlie created a massive cobble monster above the main tower. On July 24th, 2016, a player named Hector C would eventually come to the islands with his group named the Resistance. The group would take the quartz fruit from the quartz farm and would kill the cats inside the Phantom Pagoda. They would eventually log out in Charlie's cobblestone monster. The next player that griefed the Crystal Islands was Wild X. On August 1st, 2016, he and Charlie would kill all the villagers at the Mushroom Village and break the mushroom houses. And finally, on May 31st, 2017, the islands were completely blown up by Mr. King 039. He used multiple TNT kits and demolished almost everything. Today, the Crystal Islands are mostly blown up and lava casted, but there are some structures that are still recognizable. The underground tunnels are mostly blown up as well, but you can still see parts that are still not blown up. It's cool to see that even after all of these years, the islands are somewhat intact, even after being blown up, and are still remembered till this day. Thanks for watching. I would like to thank Offtopia for the information for this video. Leave a like, and maybe consider subscribing for more information like this in the future. Anyway guys, stay fast, and see you guys next time.